I pretended to be supportive of my brother's political career while secretly gathering evidence of his corruption. My brother always had this way of making everything sound like destiny when he talked about his future in politics. Even as kids, he'd stand on our backyard picnic table giving speeches to our neighbors' dogs about fairness and justice. I used to think it was cute, the way he'd practice his handshake and perfect his smile in the bathroom mirror every morning before school. Our parents ate it up, always bragging to their friends about how their son was going to change the world someday. When he first ran for city council 3 years ago, I was genuinely proud. I volunteered for his campaign, knocked on doors in the sweltering summer heat, and even let him use my garage as a makeshift campaign headquarters. The whole family rallied around him, and watching him give his victory speech that November night felt like watching someone's childhood dream actually come true. He thanked me specifically in front of everyone, saying I was the best brother a guy could ask for. But something started feeling off about 6 months into his first term. He'd come over for Sunday dinner at our parents' house, and instead of talking about the community projects he was working on, he'd spend the whole time complaining about how expensive everything was becoming. Not expensive for the city or the taxpayers, but expensive for him personally. His car needed repairs, his apartment rent was going up, and he kept mentioning how other council members seemed to have figured out ways to supplement their income. The first red flag was when he started showing up to family gatherings with expensive stuff that didn't match his salary. A new watch that probably cost more than I made in 2 months, designer clothes that still had tags showing prices that made my stomach turn, and suddenly he was always picking up the check at restaurants with a thick roll of cash. When I asked him about it, he'd just wink and say something about learning to work smarter, not harder. I tried to convince myself that maybe he'd gotten lucky with some investments or found a side business that was taking off. He'd always been good with money, better than me anyway, so maybe he really had figured something out. But then I started noticing patterns when I'd visit him at City Hall or attend public meetings to show my support. There was this construction company that kept winning bids for city projects, even when their proposals weren't the cheapest or most qualified. I'd sit in the back of those council meetings, watching my brother vote yes on contracts that didn't make sense, and I'd feel this sick feeling in my stomach that I kept trying to ignore. The company's owner would nod at my brother from across the room, and my brother would give him this little smile that I'd never seen him use with anyone else. The breaking point came during a heated debate about a new development project that would tear down the old community center, where we'd both learned to play basketball as kids. The whole neighborhood was against it. Families were showing up to meetings in tears, begging the council to preserve the one place their children had to go after school. My brother sat there listening to all these heartfelt pleas, nodding sympathetically, and then voted to approve